Hey guys, what is up? It's J Drum here. I just thought I'd show you guys a new piece of equipment that I got to do my live streaming with. Today we're going to be looking at the AR12 USB mixer from Presonus. This is from their new hybrid digital analog mixers. As you can see here, I've got the mixer all hooked up, and it's hooked up into OBS. And you can see as I'm talking, my voice will come up here on these on the meter bars right here, and also here up top by the gain knobs, so you can see that it is actually working and picking up into OBS. So, and then here's another way too. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens here. So, as you can see, it is coming through, and we are metering as well on OBS. And this is actually kind of cool because for a while, it's only been 2 in, 2 out from being able to mix from a single interface through the mixer. This way, what Presonus has done, they've taken this mixer and they've put each individual channels into a pair, so you have 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then so on and so forth. Sorry, I've got the focus block on my camera on there. I can't figure out how to get that off. But anyway, the point is, which I'll go ahead and pull up my sound properties, and I'll show you on this how this actually works. Because, see on here, this is the playback mode, and you have mixes 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and that's only for the playback mode. On the board here, right up here, you can see USB 3 and 4, which is this row right here, or which the super channel comes out of mixes 1 and 2, which is fed into the main fader over here. So when we go into the recording mode, what you're going to see happen here is each individual channel is paired as a single audio interface. So now you will not only be able to multi-track and live stream with this mixer, but you can go through and select whichever pair you're running your microphones through. And I guess, that's pretty cool, how they've got that set up. So when you go into these, as you can see, I've got mix 1 and 2, and you can see it's actually reading over here on the sound properties. And when I go in and switch, oh yeah, and another thing too, the fader, which watch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. My voice gets softer as I'm bringing it up. My voice gets louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. So, and without this main mix to USB 1 and 2 pressed, everything in here from these would all be pre-fade, which is everything from the gain down to the faders. Post-fade would be everything sent to the main mix over here, which when you press USB 1 and 2. So you can still do that, or you can send out the individual channels for multi-tracking. And in Studio One, it'll pick those up as individual channels. And you won't have to restart the mixer. You won't have to restart the computer. You won't have to restart your stream. You just plug in, go, and that's what I love about this thing. I mean, that's really what I wanted to show. I know there's not a whole lot of videos out there that explain all this and how the internal drivers of the actual mixer functions. You also have universal control, which has a loopback playback feature, which I'm not going to get into all that because I'm not quite sure how that works. This is just a short little video of how I've gotten it to work with OBS, which, as you can tell, it works fantastic. The only thing I'm running on OBS right now is, actually, I'm not even running any of the VSTs on OBS. The only thing I'm doing with the microphone is actually EQing it right here, as you can see. I've got those dialed in. So, as you can tell, my voice is getting bassier, 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 bassier. And as I'm bringing this up, it's getting a little more tinny. Bring it about right there. It's about where it was. So, you can still EQ your voice right here. For those sound guys who actually like to touch buttons, this is great for live streaming, whatever. How I've got this hooked up is with my DSLR and through Digicam control. And anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys how all this works. And I know you guys know how to set up the mixer with... or actually, no, let me show you that real quick. So, here's OBS, and as you can see down here, I'm metering, and I'll go into the settings options, and we'll go down to properties, and brings up this screen, which, as I was saying, makes 1 and 2 over here, feeds into mix 1 and 2 on the sound properties, which I just showed you, which OBS picked that up. And as you know, PCs through USB will only pick up 2 channels, the left and right channels. It won't, I guess, unless it's designed, well, I wouldn't say unless it's designed for multi-tracking, but I'm not exactly sure how to put that, but I know with this mixer, it'll work that way. And then, as you can see from here, we have each individual channels that I can select and feed back in from the board if I were to be doing multiple sessions for live streaming. I do have virtual audio cable installed, which that will redirect things if I'm using multiple sound devices, which actually brings me to my next point. For TeamSpeak, and I do a lot of online flying, and I have vPilot plugged in. What I would do on the vPilot is select virtual audio cable 1, and I'll feed that back in through channels 1 and 2 to listen to, and then in the vPilot client itself, I will select virtual audio cable 1 and come back in here and select virtual audio cable 1. That will be the sounds for air traffic control. Or you can do that with your game. You can do that pretty much with any other audio source that you have. Virtual audio cable is a fairly inexpensive program, and it works great. The other thing is, though, I've seen guys use like a little program called Voice Meter. With this mixer, you don't have to do that. It's from the properties I showed you the playback feature in this thing mixes 3 and 4 USB playback, and then mix 1 and 2 playback. So, oh, and which actually reminds me, I gotta bring this up again. This mix 1 and 2 playback. I bumped my tripod there. If you're running TeamSpeak and you have the USB button pressed here, if you turn this up and are using this inside TeamSpeak, they will, or whichever VoIP program you're using, if you turn this up, they're going to be able to hear themselves on a feedback, which that you don't want. So what I would recommend doing is getting a headphone amp, send it to monitor 1, and then plug it in your headphones to monitor 1. Then you can move your the sound of the VoIP program in your head to whatever you want to, and then that way you can keep this fader down so it won't loop back into whatever they're doing. So they won't be able to hear themselves. Same thing with the game or simulator or whatever you're live streaming. Speaking of live stream, if you're in a church setting or if you got a live band and you want to live stream this mixer is a great choice for that too, because you can hook all your stuff up like normal, plug it in, run the main mix in through USB, hook a webcam up, or what I'm doing here is using Digicam, and that'll work as well. I mean, there's probably other ways of doing it that'll get you better quality, but for an audio standpoint, this really is the way to go. The other thing I want to say about this is in their larger series, the 16 up to, I think it's like the 24 channel or 22 or whatever it is, those, and if they do anything larger than that, what I would like to see are subgroups on the mixers instead of down here. I know they didn't do that. They were thinking more, on the recording standpoint, I guess. But for a live standpoint, I would like to see subgroups put in there. And also the effects too work on the live stream as well, which I'm not going to turn those on. But everything works, and it seems to work out okay for me for what I use it for. And I've gone through several interfaces, and nothing else touches what this board can do. So I'm really happy with it, and I think this one's going to be a keeper for me. The other thing is the SD card thing over here. If you don't have a computer and you want to record your band off the mixer, just take a DSLR camera with you, set it up, set your cameras up, and go in here, plug the SD card in, record, and then go through and sync your video up in post-production, and that'll work out just fine for you, for making making music videos or even just recording your shows. So anyway, I hope this video helps, and you guys stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next video, and thanks again for watching.